All right.
Good morning,
Thank you.
everyone.
Morning.
Good morning. Welcome to today's Daily Huddle. Thanks to you, thanks to our special guests. This actually happens to be the 6th episode of Giovanni's invention and my invention. The Daily Huddle is designed to give us an opportunity to give back to the community. And it turns out to be something that's giving back to us in a way that we couldn't even imagine. We have the opportunity to showcase experts in their fields who want to make a difference to people. We have the opportunity to have you with us in this quarantined era. We're not so alone. So thank you for being with us. And we also have the opportunity to create something that I believe for both Giovanni and myself and you will be something that we get to keep forever. So mark these words. The Daily Huddle is here to stay, and it will morph, it will evolve in whichever way you want it to. Giovanni and I are delighted to serve in this capacity. So this is your 30-minute conversation to leave you with the tools you need to deal with the circumstances and your emotions and your feelings, make sound decisions, and produce great results in your life and in your business. My business partner is Giovanni Gonzalez. Giovanni?
Thank you, Saurel, and welcome everybody. I'm always excited to be at the Daily Huddle, and I always love to see the faces that signed in, and we get to interact and just to connect with each other. And I'm sure we're building a connection that lasts a lifetime. So go ahead, Saurel. I can't wait to hear from Michel.
Yeah, well, Michel is here, and as we do with each and every single one of our guests, I want to give you a clear sense of his expertise, his origin, his commitment to making a difference for you. So Michel is from Haiti. He and I share that in common. And we share another thing. Don't take it against us. We both went to the University of Florida. Oh my God, another Gator in the house. Yay, right? And Michel has always had a love for entrepreneurship. His parents were both entrepreneurs, and he decided to go to the University of Florida, study accounting and business, and he himself wanted to go down that path. He worked for some major firms like Ernst and Young, serving Fortune 500 companies in advisory capacity, auditing, accounting, and tax. Yet he could not shake the bug of entrepreneurship. So he decided to create Valbrun LLC, Valbrun Group LLC, specifically designed to help small businesses take advantage of things that his bevy of experts from the legal, financial, planning, and accounting fields bring to his clients. Advanced tax strategies and planning that you will find nowhere else than right here this morning on the Daily Huddle, as Michel Valbrun explores with us how to achieve prolific profit in this economy and any economy. Ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome with a thunderous round of applause, Michel Valbrun, and go off mute and let's do this. Yay!
Thank you.
Michel, welcome, and thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me, and I definitely appreciate the amazing introduction you just provided. Thank you so much. It's really humble. Thank you.
And so we want you to dive right into this question. In this era of quarantining, the economy's going crazy, the stock market is plummeting, we're looking and we're saying, oh my God, a global economy shutting down. And you are on the Daily Huddle, my friend, saying the incredible. You're saying that in this economy, prolific profit is possible. Not just this economy, but any economy. So go ahead and dive right in, Michel.
Yeah, again, all for having me and really appreciate the opportunity to talk about this. So yes, I do believe that prolific profit is possible in this economy and every economy. Just a little bit more background about myself. I just released a book entitled Prolific Profit: How Successful Businesses Maximize Profits and Dominate the Market. I released that on January 20th, 2020, MLK Day. And I wrote the book for a couple of reasons. So just based on my experience working with entrepreneurs, working with business owners, working with Fortune 500 companies, I noticed that there were some best practices, some things that companies put in place and had in place in order. And when I use the word prolific, what I mean by that is just an abundance, like well over beyond what you need in order to be successful in business. Because what I noticed, and what you all are really familiar with, is that the economy, especially in the United States, every 10 years we go through a contraction period. We hit a road bump, we hit a recession, and the last one was in 2008. So we've been a little bit past the 10-year mark. So now we're in 2020, and now we're experiencing what could look like a recession. It hasn't officially been a recession. By definition, a recession is just a decline in the economy for 2 consecutive quarters. So we'll see how that plays out. But you can imagine, with over 3 million people losing their jobs these past couple of weeks, millions of businesses completely on hold unexpectedly, with very short kind of runway in order to reorganize and manage how they're operating. It's definitely going to impact a lot of people. So with that, I do believe that we can achieve prolific profit. In the book, I talk about what I call the CPA success system. And in the CPA success system, it's a methodology that I did, that I just looking back at my career, looking back at all the businesses and people that I've helped, it's really a process that I believe one could implement either in this economy, any economy, in order to achieve that goal of prolific profit. Because again, just breaking even, just being profitable is not enough. Because as you can see, just being profitable, there was several companies that were just profitable last month, but they didn't really necessarily achieve that prolific profit. They didn't have a big enough margin to be able to handle this kind of impact that we're about to see right now. So really, with that CPA success system, it stands for 3 words. The first part is C. So helping entrepreneurs, business owners, individuals really get clarity, get awareness on where they're at, and understanding where they want to go. So if you don't know where you want to go, if you don't know where you're at, you really can't take your life to the next level. So what I recommend everyone do at this moment is to be very clear on what is your personal financial statement looking like. So how much money do you have? How much money do you have in retirement? How much debt do you have? How many assets do you have? Just really being clear on exactly where you currently stand, and then understanding, okay, where do you want to go? Given that we are going to step into a new reality, step into a new economy, still being clear on where it is that you want to go. Now being creative on how to get there. The second part of that is power. So having the knowledge, the tools, the information that you need to use in order to take your business, your life to the next level. So it's really closing that gap. It's that knowledge gap of getting the information that you need. So let's say that you wanted to, look into expanding marketing during this time. While a lot of companies are kind of stepping back from marketing because they want to save money, being very strategic on what are creative ways or what are cost-effective ways to be able to market myself, brand myself in this economy, right? Having a podcast or a platform like this, it's an amazing tool that we can use now, because we can literally create content, be a value add to the community, and be able to do that in a cost-effective way. And then last part of that is the A piece, which is the accountability. So working with a professional, working with someone that can hold you accountable to what it is that you're looking to do and be able to guide you throughout the process. So that's.
So C stands for clarity.
Yes,
Can
sir.
you say the P for us again?
P is power.
P is for power, the power of knowledge, right? And
Yes.
A is accountability.
Yes, sir.
In the context of CPA, right? That's a clever acronym.
Thank you.
Boy, CPA. Clarity, power, and accountability. We have several small business owners, including myself, on the Daily Huddle today. I can think of Lorna Valsain. I can think of our friend, the artist, Karina, who's on there. Now, in terms of the power of knowledge and the creativity you were talking about, in this and any economy, small businesses have certain foundations that they need to put in place to even be in the game. In the context of the word power, could you take a moment and outline for our audience the nature and the structure of that foundation I'm speaking of? You can't even begin to take advantage of CPA unless you have a sound foundation for your business. What is that sound foundation?
Yeah. So there is a couple of things that I believe that business owners need to be very clear on and very aware of. So the first part of that is really having a basic knowledge of accounting and a basic knowledge of your financial statements. So you have three financial or income statement. Your income statement is going to be your profit and your losses, your revenue and your expenses. So understanding the flow of those transactions, I talk about that in my book. I have different diagrams and maps showing you exactly how to understand your income statement. So being very clear on understanding your income statement. The next part of that is going to be your balance sheet. So that's really your point in time. So that's your assets and your liabilities and equity. How much do you own and how much do you owe? Being very clear. And right now in this season, especially being in this current economy, the balance sheet is going to be more important than ever. And the reason I say that is because prior to all this chaos and pandemic going on, it was easier for people to make money. So people were making money, income was coming in, people were making sales, but now a lot of people are hesitant because there's just too much uncertainty. People are not willing to invest in a business anymore as much as they do. So what's going to be important now, especially with the government working with the SBA, the Small Business Administration, on these disaster loans, they're going to take a very hard look at your balance. They're going to say, okay, we get that you're not making money right now. We get that there's not income coming in, but when the economy was where it was before, how many assets were you able to acquire? How much debt did you have? And how well is your financial position? So that's going to be more important. Right now, we are, I believe, in balance sheet season. So you want to make
Going.
Yep. And then last but not least, the statement of cash flow. So how's your cash flow doing? And unfortunately, a lot of business owners, they operate on a very tight cash flow basis, right? Especially if you look at restaurants. So you have money coming in, money coming out, money coming in, money coming out. Right now, because of this sudden stop with the economy, a lot of businesses are just having money coming out. So what you want to be very aware of you are currently spending money on, and seeing if there's a way to be very strategic on either reducing that or just eliminating it, and just be very clear on just sticking to the essentials that's going to help your business maintain and sustain. And the other part of that power piece talk a lot about in my book is taxes. So understanding the tax law, understanding the tax code, again, on a very high level, and understanding the purpose and how to navigate that is extremely important, because what a lot of people don't realize is taxes are your single biggest expense, right? If you look at when you bring in money, when you make money, you pay income tax. When you pay for something, you pay sales tax. Buy property, you pay for property tax. When you sell property for more than what you paid for, you pay capital gains tax. When you die, you also pay estate taxes. So being very clear on how to navigate the tax code and working again with a professional that has a clear understanding of that can help you do that. And I talk a lot about in my book about how to, at least high level, or some of the strategies and things that you could do as a business owner to save money on taxes. So I would say from a power piece, knowing and being very clear on that, from I think just having a good basic accounting knowledge. I know for a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of us are very creative, we're very innovative visionaries, and we don't necessarily like that accounting piece, but that accounting piece is literally the cornerstone, the bedrock of your business, and making sure that those numbers are good, working with your accountant if you have one, making sure that they're taking care of you, and then using those financial statements and that tax knowledge as a way to help you navigate in this new economy.
Awesome, awesome. And you know, just to be fair to you, Michel, I'm going to say something, and I want everyone to know I'm not necessarily plugging your services. But to the A piece, accountability. As a business owner, I'm discovering in this conversation that it's part of my accountability to account for how the business is going. So you're speaking of the balance sheet, you're speaking of cash flow statements, you're speaking of income statements. And I'm imagining there may be some people in the worldwide audience and even on this huddle this morning who aren't familiar with that. So for the really small business, the micro business, or the medium or small business that has not yet put in place the accounting systems and procedures to be accountable, what would you recommend?
Yeah, there's a couple of things that I recommend, and it's interesting that you brought up that accountability piece, because that's pretty much, if you break down the word accounting, that's what it's about. It's being accountable for what the numbers that are coming in and transactions that are coming in. So as a small business owner, someone who's just starting off in business, at a very, very basic level, you can use Excel to manage your finances. Okay, so if you don't have a ton of transactions coming in and out, meaning that you don't have a ton of cash coming in and a ton of cash coming out, then you can use Excel and manage that on a monthly, weekly basis, however often that you can make that happen. I recommend at the very least monthly, but you know, you want to make sure that you're keeping track of that. So on your Excel spreadsheet, let's say you have a tab for your income statement, another on sheet, another tab for the cash flow statement. So then with the income statement, all you need to do is type revenue. How much revenue did you bring in? Meaning how many sales did you bring in for the month? And you could do it on the cash basis, not to get too complicated, but there's a cash basis and there's an accrual basis. Cash basis just means that you have money coming in, you record it. When you have money coming out, you record that on whatever that cash is. So say that you have a sale for $1,000, you record that. Let's say that you spent maybe $300 on advertising, and then your profit on that would be $700. So making sure you keep track of that, your balance sheet and your cash flow statement. So you can do that in Excel. Another more robust and very affordable tool is QuickBooks. So QuickBooks is a great tool because what they allow you to do is they allow you to connect your bank accounts. So as a business owner, if you're not aware, you need to have a separate business account to one, create that legal separation, that asset protection from your personal finances and your business, and then two, to tell your accounting a lot better. You're going to want to have that business account. With that business account, you want to connect that to QuickBooks. What QuickBooks does is then automatically record those actions, and then it's really up to you to go inside QuickBooks and then categorize it the way that the way based on the nature of the transaction. So if that's something that may seem too burdensome, complicated, definitely reaching out to an accounting professional to do that. But as a small business owner, that is something that I believe that, you know, many small business owners could take on. But again, it does take time to do that, especially if you're up with it, especially if you're not doing it, you know, real time.
Awesome, awesome. Well, your conversation with us this morning, Michel, is definitely giving us power and clarity. And in terms of accountability, I'm sure that our listeners right now want to ask you some questions and find out how they can push the ball down. But the other thing I'm discovering is that prolific profit isn't something mysterious. If I've heard you correctly, if you set the right foundations in place, you continue to stay clear, you continue to add power by learning, and you continue to remain accountable, whether you're doing it on your own or engaging an accountant like yourself. The basics works when it comes to running a business. So thank you for that. So folks, the floor is open. Your questions to our special guest, Michel Valbrun of Valbrun Group LLC. Go for it. You may raise your hand or go off mute and ask your question directly.
Go ahead, Adriana.
My question is, I don't have QuickBooks. Can we use a system, a free system in Google, similar than QuickBooks, to take care of that accounting that you were mentioning?
Yep, that's a great question. So if you want to, let's say you have a Google Drive account, what you could use is Google Spreadsheets. So it's called Google Sheets. So Google Sheets is very similar to Excel. It actually has a lot of the same functionalities. So what you want to do is, you want to go inside the Google Sheets. And then, as I mentioned, you want to create different tabs for your financial statements. So at the very least, you want to have an income statement, depending on the size of your business. Just at the very basic level, you want to have an income statement, just a profit and loss statement. If you're not familiar, that's just the revenue and expenses. And you want to just make sure you're keeping good track of that as well. And then also having the different expense categories as well on that. So depending on your business and how you operate, you want to just make sure that you customize it for your business. And also too, that's going to help you during tax time. So when it comes to get your taxes done, whether you prepare it yourself or you give it to a tax preparer, they could be able to take those numbers and put it onto your tax return.
Awesome.
Was that? Does that help? Okay.
Thank you for the question, Adriana. Who else?
This is Fabian.
Hi, Fabian.
Do you happen to have any tips? Because I've been trying to look for something that would help with how to determine like a payroll for like a really, really small, I wouldn't even say business, like a self-employment, but there's like 2 or 3 people in there. How to come up with like a payroll system so that way at least some money's going into each person pocket at the time until we kind of build up the business.
Yeah, so there's a couple of tools out there for payroll that I recommend. For people who are just starting off in business, there's a really good tool called Gusto. It's gusto.com. So that's a really good one to start off with. If you have QuickBooks, again, QuickBooks also has a payroll tool that you could use in there. And then as you scale up and move up, even though you can do it now, ADP is another tool that you can use. So ADP is like a really robust tool that's used by like Fortune 500 companies. So it's really, really helpful. But I would say those 3 are probably going to be the best for you. So I would say take a look at their websites, see they have different interfaces and ways that they have the look. So just see what makes sense for you. Then also they have different pricing as well. But those are the 3 main ones if you're looking to process payroll.
Thank you.
Sure thing.
Perfect. We have room for one more question. Gio, you want to take that one?
Sure. When I was in college, I used to do all my balance with Excel, and I really took my time to put everything in every night that I spend or any money that came in, and it was a real pain in the butt to do that. So I highly recommend using QuickBooks or something else rather than doing it on your own. Even $10 a month will do it. So I think the question I wanted to ask you is, I don't know how you could say this in 40 seconds, but in the experience that you have working with the number of companies you have had a chance to work with, it's right now the whole global economy, everybody is being impacted, everyone. So it's not so it's like this is unprecedented. This is not more of the same. However, at some point, I'm sure you have worked with companies that are being impacted and it was real. And then maybe you saw something that people did, your clients did to turn it around. And I was wondering if maybe you have at the top of your head, something that you got from those clients, from those people that turned it around, and maybe you have a story to share on what is it that you saw about them that they did or didn't do that gave them access to turn around their business and then eventually have a profitable business again.
Yeah, that's a great question. So a couple of things come to mind when I think about that. So I think the biggest thing overall is just being very clear again on where you currently stand at with your business, and then just being honestly just taking a hard look at the expenses that you're spending, where the money's coming out, because I know for a lot of people they do have a lot of expenses that they can eliminate. And then really I think what's going to be more important than ever, because I mean honestly this is something that this never happened before. We don't know how this is going to play out. We don't know how long this is going to be. I think more important than ever is just being very innovative and taking advantage right now, I believe, of the tools that we have right now with the internet. So, taking advantage of, doing like a podcast. There's companies out there. I know there's a restaurant that was delivering steak with toilet paper. That's a temporary thing, but, being very creative on ways that you can adjust to the market. So like right now, one of the things that I'm doing and pivoting with my business is I'm talking more about the SBA disaster loans, because that's what's on the top of mind of business owners right now. So maybe in the past, it was all about, having businesses spend money on their accounting and all that kind of stuff. But right now, what business owners really need is that trusted advisor that's going to help them get that business funding. Or, so whatever the case is, I think just the biggest thing is just having your pulse on where the market is. There's a lot of great companies that have been created during recessions. I mean, I think Uber is one of them. I believe maybe Microsoft. There's a few others that a lot of great companies have been created during a recession. So it's just really understanding the market is. But I think the obvious thing here is that I think more important than ever, I think is that a lot of businesses now are going to put more and more and trying to transition more and more to online, because that's just an area where no matter what happens, with the physical community, online is always available for people to be able to transact, make sales. So that's pretty much what I was saying.
Awesome. Well, it is 32 after, folks. And Michel, you've got the last 30 seconds of the minute that we have left to say your last words. Thank you again for being here. How would you like to close this, Michel?
Yeah, I would say that everyone, first and foremost, appreciate the opportunity to be here. And one of the quotes and one of the things that I like to say is just be prolific on purpose. And what that means is just be intentional and really be focused on adding as much value as you can to this market. Everyone is well, not everyone, but a lot of people are scared, uncertain. This is the time for entrepreneurs to really dig deep and to add as much value as possible. I believe that entrepreneurs are going to be the ones to really turn this economy around. So I think it's up to all of us to really just go out there and continue to just add as much value as we can. And again, be prolific on purpose, be intentional. And that's it. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Michel. And This is what the Daily Huddle is all about.
So Saurel,
Gio has something.
Gio, go ahead.
Michelle, could you real quick type your email and the name of your book to the chat so I can put it later on the social media? Go ahead, Saurel.
Thank you.
No problem at all. Again, thank you so much, Michelle. Thank you, Giovanni. Thank you, everyone who's here. Pause for a second. Don't hang up yet, because tomorrow morning at 9 a.m., we have a very special guest. Her name is Mariela Romero. She's the regional director at Univision Communications. And she's going to be digging into this question. How much are the goals you set really impacting your future? And is it the goals or is it your intentions that create your future? I'm very excited. Giovanni, I know you're excited to have Mariela with us tomorrow. Help us spread the word, help us spread the cheer, help us spread the love. We're staying together, we're sticking together, and we're staying connected. This was episode 6 of the Daily Huddle. Thank you for being here. We'll see you tomorrow. Same time, same channel. Have a great day, people.